Hey everyone, welcome to MLSsoccer.com's Brazil Bound, presented by Castrol GTX High Mileage. I'm Greg Lawless, and I'm joined by the one and only Andrew Wiebe, although for the next month or so, we're going to be calling you Wiebinho, because you're headed to Brazil on Sunday.
You know, I like that. Wiebinho. It flows off the tongue, doesn't it? Look.
It's Portuguese.
Yeah, it is
Everything
Portuguese.
flows off the tongue in Portuguese,
that's very
obviously.
true. I'm still working on my Portuguese, by the way. But I have my shots. I have my malaria pills. I've even got a healthy immunity built up to typhoid and dengue fever. I also had a couple caipirinhas the other day. Got to get the old taste buds acclimated, Greg. I'm ready for some football. Let's get this party started.
Before anyone gets on a plane bound for Sao Paulo, there is still one more World Cup tune-up to play here on home soil for the U.S. team. They take on Nigeria Saturday evening, 6 p.m. You can watch it on ESPN2 and Unimas. And this is basically the players' last chance to impress the coaches, Andrew, but it's also their last chance to impress the American public.
Yeah, we really haven't seen a rallying cry, a widespread one at least, behind this team yet. Maybe it's the hangover from Landon Donovan's unceremonious dismissal. Or maybe the U.S. just hasn't wowed enough in their friendlies. Or maybe folks are just waiting until the team gets to Brazil.
Whatever it is, the U.S. team needs to have a good performance against Nigeria on Saturday.
Look, Greg, this is what they need. Three things. First, Josie Altidore. He's got to get a goal before he goes to Brazil. Second, Michael Bradley's got to be the best player on the field. And third, I want to see some dominance, some nastiness from that back line.
I hope Jurgen Klinsmann's saying the exact same thing in his talk before this game. Tactics? We're a week out from the World Cup and we're talking about tactics? No, seriously, tactics have become the major talking point about the U.S. national team, specifically the diamond midfield. Now, if you're new to this soccer stuff, that basically means the midfield lines up like this. Most recently, we've seen Michael Bradley at the top of the diamond in what is a traditional attacking midfield position. Now, when I see that, and I say, hang on, when did Michael Bradley become our Diego Maradona or Zinedine Zidane? Is that really using Bradley's strengths? I mean, he's not a fantasista.
Did you look that one up?
I had to look up the pronunciation.
There you go.
He goes box to box, makes that delayed run into the attack, and scares the bejesus out of children with the intensity of his goal celebrations.
Well, think of the children, Greg. Look, Bradley can certainly pick out a pass. We know that. We saw him feed Fabian Johnson against Turkey. But I have real doubts about the Diamond's viability in Brazil. It just leaves too much space in front of the center backs and on the wings. For me, Bradley is much better suited to balancing the dirty work and those creative responsibilities you mentioned from a deep-lying position. And the U.S. is far more difficult to break down. And they're more dynamic with Michael choosing his moments to burst forward.
You got another and?
I'm out of ands. But look, if it was up to me, and we all know that it's not, 4-2-3-1. Call me Jurgen. 4-2-3-1 would be the shape. I just don't know that Jermaine Jones has the discipline for 90 minutes to play the lone D mid spot.
Well, I think Jermaine Jones is one question. For me, it's also about Graham Zusi. Can Graham Zusi figure out that outside right position in the diamond? I think he seems a little bit lost. Against Turkey, he wasn't sure when to come inside and when to stay out wide in the attack and in the defense.
Yeah, look, and that's the key defensively. Those wide midfielders have to know what to do. Look, it took RSL years to perfect this system. The U.S., they've just got weeks.
Weeks? You're talking about weeks? Defense wins championships, they say. Not that the U.S. is going to win a championship, according to some people. First, let's talk about one of the biggest question marks for the U.S. in the Nigeria game. And Andrew, you mentioned this earlier, the defense. Now, this Nigerian squad is meant to approximate Ghana, the U.S. national team's first opponent down in Brazil. And the squad is loaded with pace, power, and some potent finishers up top, including Victor Moses, Emmanuel Emenike, and Peter Odemwingie. So what's the best setup for the U.S.? Is it Johnson, Cameron, Beasler, Chandler? Or Yedlin, Cameron, Beasler, Johnson? Or maybe Johnson, Brooks, Beasler, Beasley? So many options, so much uncertainty.
And look, Greg, that's exactly what you want going into a World Cup. But against Nigeria, who love to get at you 1v1 in the wide areas with, you mentioned it, Moses and Odemwingie, those fullbacks, they're going to have to be ready to defend, and communication is going to be key with the outside mids. We already mentioned that. They'll share in the tracking responsibilities. In my opinion, you've got to trot out your starting lineup against Nigeria. I expect that to mean Beasler and Cameron in the middle, Johnson on the right, and it certainly seems Timmy Chandler is going to get the nod at the left back position, despite a shaky return to the 11 against Turkey. No matter who plays, Greg, the key here, synergy between the back line and midfield. It's a group effort.
I love the pause before Chandler's name because that is probably the biggest question right now on that back line. Is Chandler really the guy you want out there on the left flank going up against Ghana in that first game? Hey, Webinho, you think the U.S. will win the World Cup?
I don't, Greg.
Do you think they can win the World Cup?
Of course they can. Anything can happen.
Well, not according to Jurgen Klinsmann. In what has become an instant classic quote, the U.S. national team coach told the New York Times Magazine this week that, quote, "We cannot win this World Cup because we are not at that level yet. For us, we have to play the game of our lives 7 times to win the tournament."
Well, there you go, Jurgen. That's your task. Get them to play the game of their lives. You know what? Let's start with 3 times. 3 is a good
Just
even
3.
number. Yeah,
if they need the game of their lives 3 times, that gets them out of the group. Now, one of the things that bothers a lot of people, I think, about that quote is this sense of un-Americanness that it brings in.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. This team, for years, has been based on belief. We knew we weren't up to snuff before. The U.S. has not been among the top 10 teams in the world on talent, but they believe and they fight for a cause. And when your leader comes out and says, look, that cause is out of reach, that's tough to swallow.
Hey, look, there's a song that the fans chant in this. I believe that we will win. It's not even I believe we can.
Yeah, there's
I believe
no
we
World
will.
Cup at the end of that,
I
though,
do.
Greg.
There is, well, why can't we throw it at the end?
Why can't we?
I
believe that we will win the World Cup.
Well, we'll see if the U.S. can win against Nigeria in their final World Cup tune-up. Saturday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The game is on ESPN2 and Unimas. We'll have full coverage on MLSsoccer.com. Now, Webinho, are you ready for Brazil?
I was born ready, Greg, and look, pay no attention to those caipirinhas on the expense account. It wasn't me.
Yeah, if those show up, don't come back from Brazil. That's it for this edition of MLSsoccer.com's Brazil Bound, presented by Castrol GTX High Mileage. He's Andrew Wiebe. He's Jurgen Klinsmann. I'm Greg Lawless. We'll talk to you later on.